Welcome back, everyone. Great to have you here. Hopefully you tuned into yesterday's show. That was episode 2199, our first Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. Today is episode 2200. So if you want to read along with all of the questions, you are welcome to. You can head on over to stephencabral.com/2200. And again, that's Stephen with a PH. Each and every Saturday and Sunday, we answer our community's questions. Typically, it takes about 6 weeks from when you enter your question at stephencabral.com/askcabral for that question to be read live on the show. And of course, then it debuts about 6 weeks later. So I just want to let you know, all customer service questions, if you want to know where your order is in transit or how to complete a lab or whatever it might be, the best place to email is just support@equi.life, support@equi.life. And the reason I say that is that we're always happy to help, but we won't see your question for 6 weeks. So it's not that we don't want to get back to you. It's not that we don't care for you. It's that nobody looks at this Ask Cabral document until I literally open it up about to read it live, which I'm doing right now. So there's no prep work done for my podcast. My podcast is, I think, as real as it can get. I read your question, and what I do is I give you my first response based on decades of reading, research, education, and actual clinical practice. So hopefully this is helpful. I'm always open to, as I always say, new podcast topics and additional things I can help with. So just let me know. All right, let's dive into today's questions. I apologize about my voice today. Probably not the best podcasting voice, but you know, as they say, the show must go on. And it always does, 7 days a week. And that is my commitment to you. All right, let's get started. First question is from Nicole. Nicole says, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. I love the podcast and your positive energy. Thank you for all of your work. I have spots on my skin called CARP, confluent and reticulated papillomatosis. I have had them for 3 years, wondering where it comes from and what to do about it. I eat a mostly paleo diet and recently strictly gluten-free due to celiac. Thanks." All right. So confluent and reticulated papillomatosis. And really what we're talking about is, for anybody, and I'm sure most people don't necessarily know what that is, it's a hyperkeratinization. So it's essentially a increasing in pigmentation of a particular part of the skin. And for the most part, these, we'll call them CARPs, the spots on the skin, are benign. They are not cancerous. There's no usual issues with them, but you should obviously have them checked out by your dermatologist just to confirm. But it really has more to do with a hormonal imbalance as well as potentially a fungal imbalance. These are being continued to be researched and studied, but it does seem, at least in my practice and the research that I've been keeping up on with a lot of skin-based conditions, that the first place you do have to look is the gut, but the second you want to look at the adrenals and thyroid. Now, I'll give you a breakdown, just a quick breakdown of both. So fungal-based issues in the gut can manifest themselves as skin-based issues. It's very well known that fungal-based issues, not just in the gut, but anywhere in the body, can actually look like something like ringworm on the skin, red rash, even leading to things potentially like rosacea, psoriasis. Psoriasis does have a fungal or SIBO-based component to it, but even dry scalp, right? That can be a big part of it as well. Okay, so definitely look at gut-based issues. But the second is to look at least a point. I asked, so if you were in my practice, I would ask you, when this started, the previous 4 to 6 months before these skin spots started, were you dealing with any excessive stress, high levels of cortisol that may have brought them on? And you might have said yes, and maybe you said no. Okay, it's just my job to do what's called process of elimination. That's basically my job. And I would look at food sensitivities and I'm like, oh, well, you're celiac. Okay, that makes sense. Then there may be an autoimmune component to it, an inflammatory issue for sure, leading to these skin spots. So just always know that there's always an answer. People are genetically susceptible, so don't get me wrong. There's a genetic susceptibility, but that doesn't mean that you have to have them, right? It just means that there's a genetic susceptibility. So in someone in your case, I would run the Big 5 labs. I mean, this is just what I would do. You can find those labs at stephencabral.com/big5, the number 5. and you'll be able to see those labs. That's what I would do. If you weren't able to afford the big five, I understand. I would then run the starter kit, which is less than half the price. And that would be another great place to start. All right. Thank you, Nicole, for writing in. Appreciate you. Rebecca is up next. I'm looking for information on elevated secretory IgA. My results were above a 6,000 on the anti-gliadin IgA. And then there was a greater than 500 on the OCall blood. I had a GI map test completed by a different company, and I don't feel that they understood the results. I'm concerned about celiac and will start removing gluten from my diet and get an FOBT from my PCP. Just looking for some more insight on secretory IgAs. Thank you very much. I've spent a small fortune, and I don't feel like I got the best support or answers from my labs. The health coach said she had never seen high IgAs before, as well as I'm enrolled in an IHP level 1 and level 2, just signed up 2 weeks ago. Okay, so Rebecca, I'm happy to help you with this. I mean, secretory IgA is a big part of what we've done in our practice. So I just want to give a little public disclaimer. A lot of people, they see the labs that we offer over at Equalife, other companies as well, not just Equalife, of course, but they purchase them then from another like online marketing company, which doesn't have your best interest in mind. They're simply an online marketing company, or maybe even with their provider, and maybe they're a little bit less. They may be. The problem is that lab results mean absolutely nothing, literally absolutely nothing, if you do not have a qualified practitioner reading them to you to help you understand them, but also the proper program and protocol in order to help you rebalance whatever those issues are. So that's why I really recommend working with, and I'm so happy, Rebecca, that you signed up for level 1 and level 2, because you'll probably be one of those people one day, is that you work with a level 2 integrative health practitioner if you want to run labs. I can't recommend it enough. You can find those practitioners at integrativehealthpractitioner.org/practitioners. And you can search by level 1 or level 2. Level 1 are amazing health coaches, and level 2 are certified health coaches to be able to help you with at-home lab testing as well. So completely up to you. Or you can also, of course, work with our Equalife team. I just want to give you the recommendation and suggestion because, again, lab results, there's so many companies coming out with them. They mean nothing if the practitioner is not able to help you with it. All right, so let's help you with it. Certainly there's an issue with gliadin, which is the main protein in wheat, gluten-based issue. And then we had a OCall blood. So, the OCall blood should be checked by your PCP. There's no doubt about it. It could be something like parasites. It could be inflammation somewhere in the digestive tract, microscopic bleeding. It should be checked out, of course. Definitely should be checked out, okay? But there are other factors, and we want to look at that. So really what we want to do is, in my opinion, you'd want to run the bacteria and parasite stool test. And it sounds like you kind of may have already run that, but what you want to do is get results based on that, meaning what did it's called beneficial bacteria look like? What did your commensal bacteria look like? And what did your negative bacteria look like, meaning like the bad bacteria? Then, were there any parasites? Okay, that's important to look at that. Was there any H. pylori? Was there any yeast overgrowth? So, and then once you've done that, you can say, okay, I need to complete the ParaPro support protocol, the CBO protocol, add the citracidyl drops, do the CBO finisher. So you kind of just want to work through the steps, and that'll be helpful. A high secretory IgA, just if no one explained it to you, means that there's typically a gut infection. Okay, so there's a digestive infection. But again, I can't provide you with a medical diagnosis. I'm not here to provide medical advice, medical treatment plan, or a medical cure. I think that covers me right there. But typically, when I see this, I'm seeing a gut infection, a parasitic infection, which means parasites. And again, you just want to run that stool test, all right? So hopefully this is helpful. For anybody wanting more information on the stool test, they can find it at stevencabral.com/labs or stevencabral.com/stool-test. All right, have a little sip of smoothie here, and then we'll be on to our next question from Maria. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I have a question in regards to vitamin D levels. I've had my levels tested 4 times in the last 9 months. I can't get my levels to budge from 30 to 35. I was supplementing with 5,000 IUs, the Equal Life drops, and then I bumped up to 10,000 IUs 2 months before my last test, but to no avail. I've listened to your podcast on cofactors for vitamin D absorption many times. I use the DNS powder daily, so I'm getting all the vitamins and minerals you mentioned in the podcast that are required for absorption. I've been taking my vitamin D at breakfast and with my morning smoothie, which contains 1 to 2 tablespoons of seeds. I started taking it at lunchtime. Added a little additional MK7. I live in the Midwest, so sunlight, vitamin D is really only possible from June to September. Not sure what else I can do to get my levels up. I'm on month 1 of the CBO finisher. After completion of the CBO protocol, I'm sure poor gut absorption has had something to do with it. Any other advice on how to get my levels up, which haven't budged at all? Do you have a favorite vitamin D light that you recommend? You beat me to it. So you have to understand is that, there's always outliers, right? So vitamin D supplementation works. I mean, if it didn't work, of course, we wouldn't recommend it. And but that's not to mean that our friend Maria here isn't getting the results that she wants. So she did the right thing, and she said, "Okay, my vitamin D levels are not raising even when I increase my dose. So what do I need to do? Okay, I need to increase my magnesium, my vitamin K2. I need to get my calcium, magnesium, vitamin K2, zinc, my other cofactors. Okay, great." And so she did that. And again, if you haven't heard that podcast on vitamin D cofactors, you can go to stephencabral.com/podcast and just search vitamin D cofactors, and you'll find out how to better absorb your vitamin D as a fat-soluble vitamin, taking it with certain fat-soluble meals, etc. Okay, but Maria did all that. So what do we do? Well, you also want to look at the health of the liver. So, and again, I don't mean that you have any type of liver-based disease, but what I mean by is I would, if you have not already done a 21-day functional medicine detox, I would do that because there could be an actual conversion issue in the liver, and I'd want to look at that. Okay. Now, besides that, I like where your mind's at. Instead of supplementing with vitamin D, well, maybe we supplement with a vitamin D light. Check out my podcast I did on Sperti, Sperti. I'm going to be testing out other vitamin D lights in the future, but this is one to check out. Again, you can just go to stephencabral.com/podcast to be able to search Sperti and my review on that. Pretty nice little device, 5-10 minutes, not a big deal. And that will help you to get your vitamin D levels up through a vitamin D lamp for those people above basically the Atlanta, Georgia line. All right. All right, Karen is up next. Dear Dr. Cabral, thank you for your podcast and the easy way you get out information about having good health. I'm 62 in the best health of my life, thanks to many changes I've made. 10 years ago, I switched to a gluten-free diet. The change it made and how I feel was amazing. Since then, I've been devouring books on health and continuing to modify my diet and exercise. I'm now dairy-free, a recent change. I eat very little sugar products at 62. I'm back to the weight I was when I graduated high school. My question for you is about a condition I have on my lower lip. It's been there for about 25 years in varying degrees, and it's called actinic cheilitis. It is a continual sloughing off of skin of my lower lip. Sometimes it's mildly painful, and it's worse in the winter months. My dermatologist gave me a cream to treat it, a strong pharmaceutical that actually works by destroying the skin. I went through 1 round of this and couldn't tolerate the cream. The pain and ugliness of my lip was awful, and I experienced body aches, headaches, and couldn't sleep, a condition that is rare side effect of this cream. As this is considered a precancerous condition, I need to do something. I appreciate any suggestions you have. All right, I'm going to get rid of your name and where you're from, just so we keep this semi-anonymous, okay? All right, so thank you for writing in, and I do understand what you're talking about. There's a couple ways of looking at this, okay? 3 main reasons why I see this happen in my practice. So essentially think of it this way. Your lips are dry and they're peeling, but more than the usual that a person might get. The 3 main reasons we see is sun exposure, okay? So a person having a reaction to the sun with their lips. The second is dehydration. And the third, which by the way can be an electrolyte imbalance. So you can be getting plenty of water, but not enough minerals, okay? That's also dehydration because your body can't actually use the fluid. And the third is a vitamin mineral deficiency. So this is fairly straightforward. there's two recommendations, again, I would give you. Again, I'm not providing any medical advice for sure, but we would run the starter kit. So the starter kit is the Candida Metabolic and Vitamins test that runs all your vitamin levels, gut function, neuros, et cetera. It's an amazing test, 71 different biomarkers. And that's just a simple urine sample. And then the next one's a little hair sample. And that's going to run all your minerals and your heavy metals. So we'll be able to assess all your minerals and all your vitamins on that lab. And then we would simply bring up your deficiencies through healthy whole food and nutritional supplements. And that might do the trick, honestly. So that's where I would start. Let's say, well, I can't afford the lab testing. I totally understand. You might start with then just something like the daily foundational protocol, level 2, and that or level 3 with the digestive enzymes. So you're going to get the omega-3s with that, because this could be an omega-3 issue as well. You're going to get the daily nutritional support, the daily fruit and vegetable blend, and the daily probiotics. So I would start with either one of those. If you want a customized protocol, you'll do the starter kit. And if you want to just get the vitamins and minerals in your body, you could do daily foundational protocol level 2 or 3, which is at stephencabral.com/DFP. All right. Or you can just go to stephencabral.com/shop and you'll be able to go to the whole store. So hopefully that's helpful. And thank you, Karen, for writing in. Hopefully you can write back and let us know how it worked as well. I always love hearing the success stories as well. All right. Dawn is up. I started the 7-day detox, and after the third shake, I felt nauseous. Is this normal? Should I continue on? Okay. So it's not common, and it's not normal to feel nauseous at all. But there's a couple reasons why it could happen. One is that we recommend that each one of your shakes is mixed with 20 ounces of water. That's sometimes too much water for someone to be taking in if they're not used to taking in that amount of water. Because by the time you get to your third shake, you're at 60 ounces of water. That's already 8 glasses of water. Now, you're also not eating. You're doing liquid-based shakes for the first 2 days of the functional medicine detox. It's one of the reasons why it works so well. But that might not just feel good for you, right? That might just be not the right thing for you. Or you could have gone lower blood sugar. The little bit of zinc, even though it's mixed with amino acids and protein, might be affecting you. So there's all sorts of different reasons why. If you feel nauseous, you can always stop. So again, you always have that choice. But what a lot of people do is they'll simply move on to the days 3 through 7 meal plan. And that's probably the best thing to do. So basically you do a shake for breakfast. You're going to do your plant-based lunch. You're going to do your shake mid-afternoon, and you're going to do your dinner at night. And let's say, well, it's just the shake and water that doesn't necessarily agree with you. Let's just say you figure that out because you're doing the days 3 through 7. Well, at that point, you might want to mix your shake with with some berries, right? Maybe a half a frozen banana. And what that does is obviously it turns it into a smoothie, like I'm shaking right here if you're watching this on video. And that might make it just a little bit easier for you to digest. Again, this is not common. It doesn't typically happen, but we're here for you. I just want you to know that. I apologize that, again, you wrote this in on January 3rd. This is going to debut on February 12th, so way into the future. And again, that's why I do recommend writing in at stephencabral.com. Writing in at support@equa.life is probably the best way. Or you can always just ask inside the community at cabralsupportgroup.com. All right. Thank you, Don. And and I hope you're doing well. Hopefully you already made that change by asking others as well. All right. Last question of the day is from Bettina. Bettina says, "Hi, Stephen. Thank you for your podcast. I only recently started listening to you. I got your Rain Barrel book and the 14-day detox. Would love to have the test done. However, with the money exchange and taxes, it can get really expensive. Can you suggest any labs in Brisbane or the Gold Coast of Australia that you would recommend? Looking forward to hearing from you. Sincerely, Bettina." Bettina, thank you so much. I'm happy to hear you're on board listening to the show. You read the Rain Barrel Effect. You're doing the detox. That's amazing. What I can tell you is that I, for one, I think Australia is an amazing place. I really do. And it is a shame, though, that the import taxes there and the shipping is so expensive. Now, the good news is that in the future, we're the first company to ship a suite of at-home labs tests into Australia. We actually worked with the Australian government, not a lot of people know this, 2 years ago, in order to be able to create the right codes so that you wouldn't get charged import tax fees on the full price of the lab. So that was really nice because we got them done not as a food product, but as a lab. That had never been done before. What we're also working on is a slower freight-based way to get you the labs. So, because again, Equalife does not charge anything extra on shipping, and we obviously don't charge import taxes. That's just what the country charges. And that's the best way that we can do it right now. Now, the problem is with labs coming into Australia is that most labs are put together in the US, so formulated, manufactured, and they're also processed in the US, which means that all labs going into Australia are going to have that import fee and the shipping fee. So unless you can find a lab company that originates in Australia, I'm not aware of one. I'm aware of a DNA one, but you're always going to deal with that. To my knowledge, again, I'm open to hearing new things as well. And if you know of a lab that originates in Australia that allows for all of this, then I think that's fantastic. So that's the best that I can do. I know it's not the answer that you do want, but I do understand where you're coming from. We also have a lot of integrative health practitioners that are level 2s in Australia, and you may want to check with them as well. Yeah, you can find them at integrativehealthpractitioner.org/practitioners, and you can look for all of our Australia-based friends there. All right, that is it for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into the show. I appreciate you. I'm going to be back tomorrow with a brand new voice, of course, on our Motivation and Mindset Monday. Stay tuned, everyone. Take care.